So welcome to this maths memory video. This is week 16. This is the first gold topic we're doing over here on the higher level, and this is identification of graphs. So you're going to be pretty good at knowing what graphs are and identifying a few core graphs. Anyway, these are the learning objectives. Let's grab a revision card, your master card, and let's create a few templates on your card like this. So we need to learn 5 non-linear graphs. You may have learned that in a previous topic called non-linear graphs in the foundation here. 4 proportion graphs, this is to do with direct and indirect proportion, and 3 new trigonometrical graphs now, sine, cos, and tan. This is called ideal graphs. Week 16, grade 7/8, as we mentioned. Create a template like this, create a space for your best examples. During this video, you can put them over here, and as usual, 3 steps which you think may be the best things for your card, and rate yourself in the parameter after this lesson. Let's turn over for a toolkit. So let's get a toolkit card, and let's create 3 clear sections, A, B, and C. These are for your best methodologies during this video of ideal graphs, what you feel most valuable to you, what you gain the most. So make sure you've got these 3 sections, and let's go for our core questions straight away to fill these in. Question 1, core 1, idea of graphs. So let's press pause. Let's run this question. It's all about mixing and matching different graphs to see if you can identify non-linear graphs. Okay, so this topic is about non-linear, trigonometrical, and kind of proportional graphs. But let's do this question right now. Press pause and mix and match these graphs with these 6 different graphs in the table. Press play when you're ready. So the first one, we have y equals cos x. So this is symmetrical on the y-axis. It'll definitely be a D over here. Make sure you know your sine, cos, and tan graphs. Second one, a cubic graph. We have a y-intercept of -4. This will be F, because it's slightly below here as well. We look at the -4. Next one, exponential graph, 2 to the power of x -1. So normally 2 to the power of x would go through the y-intercept of 1. We're shifting it down by 1. It'll be on the origin, the y-intercept, it'll be A. Next one, reciprocal, 5 over x. So 5 over x will simply be h over here. 2 minus x squared. So we have a negative parabola over here. Y-intercept positive, which is 2. It'll be g. It's the positive y-intercept. And the last one is a circle, x squared plus y squared equals r squared. The radius is 4. Any circle, these are all points of a radius of 4. Our answer is simply I. Let's grab a revision card, and let's call this section A, 5 non-linear graphs. Let's draw these, or sketch these graphs rather, showing any key intersection points with the axes. We have x squared, x cubed, reciprocal of x. We call this exponential graph sometimes, that is a to the power of x. And the final, x squared plus y squared equals r squared, is a circle where r is the radius. So write these down, make sure you understand them, and it'll be good use for the future video. Let's do it. Question 2a, idea of graphs. So again, let's try to match these letters with these graphs in a mix and match question. This is to do with proportionality. Okay, so these are the major 4 proportionality questions. They can easily ask you a mix and match of either one of these. So the graphs of y against x represents 4 different types of proportionality. Match each type with the correct graph. So y is proportional to x. So this first one would be this one B. Okay, it's like y equals x. If you ever get stuck, replace this alpha sign or proportion sign with equals. It will look like its original graph. Next one, y is proportional to x squared. This one is going to be D over here. Next one, y is proportional to 1 over x squared. This one will be C, okay, because y will never ever be negative. So this is the only one that's a bit different if you look at all of them actually. And last one, y is proportional to 1 over x, or the reciprocal, which is the first one, A. So look through those. That's quite a simple question, but make sure you memorize these. Let's get another revision card, and let's call it section B on our toolkit. We have learned now just 4 proportion graphs, all linked with y equals kx, or y equals k over x. Basically, that's the main gist of this. So we have 4 graphs, and normally they ask you a question of just mix and matching these with 4 different parts, A, B, and C, D. Let's write this down and make sure you understand how these basic shapes look like. Question 2b, idea of graphs. So this question, we're going to draw one of the 3 trigonometrical graphs, and this one happens to be sine x. You should know all your sine, cos, and tan graphs, and the pivotal points of these, pivotal meaning the major points. So domain is minus 90 to 360. We have a range of 1 to minus 1. That's the sine and the cos graph. Sine and cos are obviously periodical over 360. Tan is periodical over 180 degrees, which means it repeats itself over those amount of degrees respectively. Sine and cos are wavelengths, okay, and sine starts from 0, 0. These are all the key things you need to know before we do this. Anyway, sine x, let's go from memory. So from 0, 0, let's go right up to 90, 1, down to 180, 0, 270 minus 1, and a smooth curve up to 360, 0. We'll start from minus 90 as well down here because the domain was minus 90. Pivotal points, 90, 1. So over here, as we went through the graph, we showed you these already. Let's call that A. B is 180, 0. That's over here. C is 270, minus 1. D obviously would be over here. That would repeat itself from 0, 0 there. Alright, so make sure you understand the sine graph, also cos and tan as we had mentioned, and obviously the pivotal points that go through all these different types of graphs.
So let's do part C now on a new card on Toolkit. These are 3 trigonometrical graphs, sine x, cos x, and tan x. So again, it's a good idea to draw these and also jot the pivotal points. So really briefly, sine x always starts with 0, 0 over here. We'll jot these down. This is 90, 1. Just a bit off there actually. So 180, 0 is over here. This is 270, minus 1, and 360, 0. That's all you really need to know for this. 0 to 360. Okay. Cos x, it's reflective on the y-axis. A little hint. It's actually sine x shifted to the left 90 degrees. This is 0, 1. This is 90, 0. This one is 180, minus 1. And this one is 270, 0. And actually, you can say that's 360, 1 as well. Okay, so make a note of those key points. This is the tan graph, and these actually are different from sine x and cos x. And these will never hit certain lines over here at 90 degrees, minus 90 rather, and 90, 270. They're called asymptotes, okay? So make a note of this as well. It goes through 0, 0. This one over here. This one is 180, 0. And this is minus 180, 0 as well. Okay. This brings us to the end of this maths memory video on idea of graphs. So let's go through each of the sections on our initial revision card. We should have clocked these things over here. So 5 nonlinear graphs, 4 proportion graphs, and 3 trigonometrical graphs as well. Again, a nice space should have been over here for your best examples. And 3 steps, we haven't got any actually for this, but I'm sure you can actually create your own if you wanted to. But the key aspect is to identify the basic sketch of these graphs and the key intersection points that make with x and y axes. As there's so many graphs actually over here, we can get 3 basic steps, but I'm sure in your own way you can do that. Let's turn over to our toolkit to summarize the key points on this.
So here's our final toolkit. Make sure we absorb these ideas before we do our Let's Do It questions. Section A, so let's memorize these 5 nonlinear graphs. You need to know these before we start the exam. These aren't given to you. And secondly, section B, 4 proportion graphs to do with obviously your direct and indirect proportions. Make sure you know these. Let's go to section C right now for our last toolkit to master. So this is section C, and these are 3 trigonometrical graphs, sine, cos, and tan. Make sure we understand these different graphs, the corresponding x and y axes, and obviously your key points for each of these different graphs. If you know that, we're ready to do the Let's Do It questions, where you apply these concepts to your exam questions yourself. Question 1, let's do it, idea of graphs. So let's now apply what we've learned in the core questions. Let's use our revision cards and let's use our different types of graphs as well to decide which one should be which in this mix and match questions. Press pause, press play when you have done this. Question 2, let's do it, idea of graphs. So let's get a chance to sketch your 3 trigonometrical graphs. Let's memorize those revision cards and let's jot them down right now with your pivotal points as your main kind of backbone. Press play when you're ready. Congratulations, you now have completed this topic of ID of graphs. You should be an expert of looking and interpreting these 5 nonlinear graphs we've come across, these 4 proportional graphs, and obviously your 3 trigonometrical graphs of sine, cos, and tan. This is week 16, a gold tier topic. If you feel that you've done justice to this topic and your Let's Do It questions match your revision cards, which should be superb by now in this gold tier, give yourself a rating out of 10 on your revision planner, week 16, and make sure it's a really good mark.